sorry. I can barely hear. It's getting me distracted. So I think part of my solver is right because the quantity to be planted matches the maximum number of plants available. But I don't have the other part where it says that the ground required for the square feet for each plant. I don't know. I don't know where to put that in the solver or why my formulas aren't working.
I made a separate column. I'm not sure if it's the same thing you're talking about, but I just added a column on.
What do you mean?
Here, I do the same here. I can share real fast. And
yeah, I should probably share what you did. I'm not sure if mine's right.
I can barely hear it because I hear a baby crying.
Yeah, because my kid is screaming. That's good times. Let me change rooms real fast.
Go get some Benadryl.
All right, knock her out.
$7 babysitter.
So mean.
All right, here we go.
Did you drop her down a well because she kind of went?
Pretty much. She's gone.
Aww.
All right, so I ended up.
Oh, you added another.
Converting it to converting to square feet. So that this column, or sorry, this cell right here, my control cell. Sorry, that's not my control cell. I'm sorry. It's this one over here.
So would that satisfy, what is it, requirement number 3?
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us what requirement number 3 was before we can answer that?
Okay. Says the faculty member is also considering purchasing more land. So on the dashboard, include an input cell that allows him, I guess it would have to be on the dashboard, but allows him to enter the total amount of land he will farm for profit. What?
So this is what I put right here as the acres. They can put in any acres that they want, and what it is, that formula is this cell times this square footage right here. One acre equals this much square feet, and then that's what this answer is right here. So I could change whatever acreage I want, and then that'll give me the square footage for that acreage, and that'll be my condition as far as what it's reading for the maximum square footage to use. And then this right here is just a sum of everything.
Okay, wait. The total required square feet, is that what you're on?
Yeah, this is the sum of. Here, I'll show you the form. So it's big plant.
Wait, what?
Plant.
Kevin, your audio's breaking up on us, bud.
Right.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
So I have
Hold
that
on.
too.
Where did you put it?
He did it on C15.
Let me see if I can make it work. Can you hear me better?
A little bit.
Wait, why did you have a
I just
formula
got new Wi-Fi.
Why did you need the formula for the total required square feet? Doesn't that supposed to do that in the whatever solver?
Yeah, that's what this is over here. The solver over here is based off of this number right here. That right there is that's just an addition. It's not required, but it's just a sum of all the square footage I'll use based off of these numbers right here. The solver is based off of this number right here.
Mine's showing 94,000. Oh, because I have maximum number of plants in there. Hold on
So-
a second.
Can I share?
Yeah, go for it.
Because this is what I don't know what. How do I share?
Upper left-hand corner, little green box.
Oh,
Upper left-hand corner. I'm sorry.
Do you see it? The little move to the left-hand
Oh, there.
side, the green box
Okay,
with the white area.
Okay. I got this because I got my capacity and I got my available number. He said you can combine. And so my data solver, I put in all the risk constraints like that.
Huh.
Well, first off, if I may say, your constraints are way wrong.
Okay, I don't know how to do it then. I'm
Okay.
so.
Well, let's walk through the process of building the data that we need, identifying that, and then we'll come back and look at the solver. Okay. So
Okay.
if you want, I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Okay. How do I? Okay, stop sharing. Okay.
can I just say something? So when I change my quantity to be planted to look like what you have that the solver made, it looks like it, but I can't get it in the solver to do that. So anyways, I'll be quiet.
So, like Kevin was saying, he added a couple of different things, a couple of different columns, as did I. A couple of things that you'll see is I have and the reason why I built this is first I identified all the information I was looking for before I even built my dashboard. Dashboard came later. So I wanted to make sure that I had my land usage, the amount of square feet in the land. Now, mine is a simple formula because there's 43,560 square feet per acre. Using that, then it's just a simple multiply it by this to see how much our total available land is. I needed to know that, and we'll get into it here in a second because it helps me check things. This total profit this is where, for me, my understanding was that was what we're trying to solve for. He wants to know what his maximum amount of profit is. So to get that, I have to put a formula in here. And I built this just like we did in the exercise, where it's basically the profit is the number of plants times the profit per plant plus the number of plants times the profit per, all the way down. So basically it's going to add all of this times that to get, or excuse me, all of this column F times column B to get the sum of my total profit. So that's the formula that I'm going to be running my solver from.
Right.
A couple other things that I did over here. In column G, I wanted to know what the total land was going to be used based on the formula. So in this case, I have 15,000 square feet, and that's based off of 600 plants at 25 square feet per plant. Right. So that, again, that's a simple formula. So, but what this does is this builds the data that I need to know how much land is going to be required so I can check against these numbers to make sure that, one, this column, which is a sum formula of all the total square feet used, is equal or less than the amount of land that I have available to use. So it's just a double check, and that's why I ran it. So this is really the key here. And I'll highlight that one so that you guys can see what we're really trying to solve for. So this is the formula that I built, and it's basically a sum of all of my profit formula. So when I go to solver, Oh, wrong button. Sorry. Where did I put my? Where's my solver? You guys doing this in
Developer.
Is it in developer? I didn't think it was in developer.
Oh, it's data. Sorry, it's data.
Thank you. And oh, I haven't turned it on here. Hang on. Do, 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 do.
Add it.
Okay, but
Add it.
Oh, thank you. I was looking for my developer tab and
Go. There you go.
there it is. So here, this is all that I needed to, let me get this so that you guys can see everything. Oh, sorry. Don't do that. Can you still see all that on my screen?
Yeah, but I can't see the solver.
I'm looking at it up there too, but it's up, but it's not showing up on there.
You have to be in the quantity to be planted, right?
I'm sorry, what'd you just say?
Don't you have to be in the quantity to be planted, row?
No, not for the solver to run. I'm just trying to do is show you the formula. I don't care where I'm pointed right now, but it's not showing up on my screen. The solver window isn't. Maybe let me move it down here. That is so weird.
Yeah, I got the solver up on mine if you want to look this way.
Try just to click in one of the F buttons where you have something.
No, it's not. It's. I don't know what's going on. If this is a feature inside the Google Hangouts as to why it's not doing it.
Are you sharing
no,
just the
because
app?
I
or
was
just-
showing my solver to her
well,
earlier.
Hang on. Let me try something different.
I was showing my solver to Lisa earlier on Google Hangout.
I'm going to share full screen too. Let's try this.
Oh my goodness.
There we go. So again, the set objective is going to be down here in
Total profit.
D15. What am I going to change to get that value? That's going to be the quantity. We want it to change the quantity to get to that value.
Right.
So it's everything inside the F column.
Right.
Now the constraints that I'm going to add are twofold. The first constraints are going to be down the C15, I'm sorry, C18, which is right here. The land required has to be less than C15, right? So we don't want to go over the maximum amount of square footage that we have based on our land value.
Oh, so you don't have to do that for each cell?
No,
Ah,
because it's going to figure all of that for you. But basically, you want to say, what's my first constraint? My first constraint is 52,272 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to go in and say F10. Let's see. And keep in mind, the reason why these are out of order is because I actually started down here at F5, but when you go into double digits, when it starts talking about 10, 11, and 12, it moves them to the top because the first digit is a 1. So we'll just, to make it simple, I'll start with F5, has to be less than or equal to E5. So the amount of square footage that the plant is going to need, I'm sorry, the quantity, not the amount of square footage, the quantity of the plant is going to be less than 4,000. And the reason for that is because that's the maximum capacity that the supplier can give us in plants. So that's our constraint. We can't plant more than 4,000 plants of corn. And then you're going to go down all of the F's and all of the E's, adding those constraints, which will be, it's going to finish on, what is that, F12 right here?
Casey.
Yeah.
If you just drag down through those cells, it gives you the same result instead of having to do every individual one. Just do a a series for each one?
Now, I completely get that, but I think doing it this way helps break it down for those who are struggling with it a
That's
lot
fair.
easier.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's why I did it this way, just so that
Okay.
you can see each individual step. And then the last thing that I wanted to do was return these values as integer,
Right.
right? So that's this last step right here. The F5 through F12 is going to equal an integer. Otherwise, you're going to get 1650.33275 plants. Well, you can't do that.
Right.
So that's by doing all of this and then hitting solve, it runs it for you. So that when you come back over into the dashboard, now I will say this, Kevin, I liked what you did with some of your formatting. I didn't mess with it too much. Just from a simplicity standpoint, I didn't have that much time to devote to it. So,
Yeah, how did you do that?
well, so
Can I
you're
go
going to
back? Can you hang on for a second? When I ran the solver, all of mine came up right except for beets.
except for B or beats.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'd have to take a look at your solver before I can.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to
Analyze
do
that.
that on my computer. Okay, I think I'll figure it out.
So
Beats-
let me ask you,
beats should
does your
be-
solver look like this?
Well, not exactly, because I have to move all of my original data onto another sheet because my honesty warning is like covering everything up.
Your honesty
So-
warning isn't the same as mine?
No, it covers the entire data set.
That's messed up. That's how mine comes in right there.
No, you have to
No.
hide the comment. You have to hide the comment.
Do not hide or move. So, yeah, that's why I don't do anything with it.
No, I hide the comment. I don't move the
Okay.
honesty statement.
Okay. I'll do that in the future. Maybe I'm just missing one.
When it says how you click here and carefully read.
Yeah.
So basically what you're doing is when you come up here, you've got that pops up and you can't move that.
Yeah, I can't.
So when I pull my mouse away, mine just disappears. I don't have to.
No,
There
mine
is a
doesn't.
So you don't have the setting turned on to auto hide your comments.
Okay.
You need to turn that on. Which is, let's see. I
It's
gotta find
okay.
it.
I'll figure it out later.
View.
Okay, I'm ready to move on. I'm only $70 off on my profit, so. I'll
So
take-
then over here, you had to identify all of the items that the pertinent
Right.
information per quantity. And all this is doing is just taking a look back over here and pulling the information based on each one of these rows. So my button, the value is right there, number 5, right? Because I've selected number 5.
Right,
Let me.
we got that.
And then each one of these formulas is just an index, basically, that says if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, then return this value, which is what they suggested that we do using index as opposed to lookup. And then I
Okay.
just copied that formula down and changed it from F to G to H. This one's different because this one's these two are just pointing straight at a different formula, which is over here, these two, that we're looking at. So those didn't require any kind of nifty formula. And then the last thing that I did is this is my input cell for the land change. And what that does is, remember how I had it back up over here when I was building it initially? Instead of putting in 1.2 here, I actually just linked it to the cell that's on my dashboard. So that as my dashboard changes, let's say if I go to 2, then this updates over here. If I rerun the solver, it will update all the information.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in the wrong cell. Hang on. Oh, why is that not changing? There. Sorry. And then it updates everything. So then when they come back up over here, everything updates according to the solver. But if you notice, the total profit will never change because nothing in the total profit will change. All I'm doing, the only thing that ours changing is the quantity planted and the land used and profit by crop. Now, might benefit me to protect this side of the sheet so that the only thing you can select is this one. So then when you're running solver, it doesn't jump around. I'll have to see if that works. It should, but I'll have to see. Now,
Okay,
Kevin,
so
I will say, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, when you protect it, or if you protect this side of the sheet, it turns off your buttons. Is there a way
Yeah,
to
you can't protect these with the buttons. You can, but you may be able to
okay.
protect this one. Because
Okay.
like you saw me when I was running solver, if I wasn't in this one, then I'd run it and it wouldn't, it'd be like, oh, I'm looking over here at this oh crap, I gotta only be able to select this one. So that
Yeah.
let's see if I can do that real quick. So if I turn that, actually just format cells, protection, take it off, unlock it, and then protect the worksheet, turn that off. All right, so now I can't select anything but this cell, so that if I were to come over here and run solver, oh, so it won't, you can't run solver if it's protected. So that's kind of an issue. Because if you're not in this cell, if you're over here, then it's going to error out. That's where the benefit of macros will come in handy if you've already started working on any project. 18?
18.
Yeah, right.
Can you put your cursor on the quantity to be planted again? So we have index. I'm not using the array. I'm using the reference, right?
Not using the what?
When it comes up with two index.
Oh yeah, you're gonna
options.
you're gonna use the index. So hang on, let me come over here and
With array.
hang on. Sorry, that was rude. Find the keys. So when you're talking about that, you're talking about either reference or array.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just use the array.
Okay.
So that they'll come out looking like this. And this is basically an embedded if index all the way through.
Yeah, I remember that.
And cell C5 is the one that's underneath my corn button.
Right.
So that whenever whatever I press, if I press corn, it goes to 1, 2, all the way down to 8. So that's why you have the if it equals 2, if it equals 3, if it equals 4, 5, so forth and such.
Right. Okay.
Hey, Priscilla, I wanted to show you something that may help both you and Lisa understand where you're at in a formula. And it's something we haven't gone over in this class, but I was actually thinking about it over the weekend, and I think it may help. So let's come over here. I want to start a formula. We'll just do an if statement and the logical test if from right here, you can click all this, or you can come up here and start working. But do you see where my mouse is right over here?
Yeah.
That FX button. If you
Yes.
push that, look what happens. You actually get a window that tells you what you need to do.
I knew about that, but I couldn't remember how to get that. I was like right clicking.
No, the little FX button right beside your formula window. So it'll tell you, okay, I want C5 to equal 1. That's my logical test. Value if true, then return, let's see, give me a number here. Return G11. And then value if false, here is where you can put in another if statement. All right. All right. Equals if, I think that's, how do you get that? Oh, no, wait, I remember. Sorry. Let me show you. From here, if you need to start putting in other if statements, you'll come back up to here. Now we're over here in this. And then when I clicked if, it dropped me into another if statement. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And it tells you if something's working. It tells you exactly what you're trying to do. Okay, what is the condition you're trying to meet? Well, I want this to equal this. Okay, write that in. Okay, if it returns the true value, in other words, if that's the case, what's your answer? Well, I want it to say this. And if it doesn't, well, then I want to go into another if statement. So you'll come back up here and hit another if statement. And you can do all of these, and there's even more functions you can come to. You can hit, and there's every function you can imagine in here. So you can embed not just if statements, but you can embed just about anything. But that little FX button right there may help you figure out why one of your formulas may or may not be working correctly.
Okay.
Okay, I changed it, and my thing is not changing.
Your thing is not changing.
My graph, I can't get it to look like yours at all.
Okay, well, screen share, and let's take a look at what you're showing us.
This class is going to be the death of me, I swear. Okay, so I have my profit like you guys have it, right?
So you don't have to put all those parentheses in there.
Oh, okay, well. But that's correct, right? I mean, it's D
Let's see.
times F, right?
No. Well, yeah, well, first off, the quantity that you have in here is just way wrong.
I know, but I was expecting it to solve after I corrected the formula. I corrected based on what I thought you had said. I took out everything else, and I said C10. Oh, why did this change?
Yeah, so it shouldn't be C at all. You should be looking at the number of plants times the quantity to be planted. So it should be F, 9
No,
times.
shouldn't the ground required?
It's not C. That's not the ground. You're not looking for the ground required per square foot. You need to know how many quantity. So you should be looking at F times D. Right? Hang on. Let me get my solver back open to make sure that I'm on the same page as you. I'm sorry. So it's the first ones are going to be F6 or F5 times E5, not D, but your E column. So in other words, the maximum number of
I'm sorry. So this C needs to be.
Let's walk back through mine. Can you see everything? So this is back in the solver. D15, which is total sum of all the profits. Now my profits column is my quantity times profit, right? So this over here in my H column is quantity, whatever that quantity is, times profit per plant. So in this case, I'm looking at $9,000 because I'm going to be planting 600 of these bad boys. But that's a sum function. So that's this sum function that I'm trying to get to. How to get the quantity? The first thing is C18 is less than or equal to C15. That's, again, the land required versus the amount of land that I have available. So that's the first constraint. That's down here. Land required
Yeah.
versus land available. So I can't go over that. So that's my first constraint. Then I'm going to be looking at the F's. So F5 has to be less than or equal to E5. So that's my constraint here. So in other words, no matter how many plants that I plant, it can't go over 4,000 of corn. And then I'm going to follow that pattern all the way down. So F6 is greater than or less than or equal to E6. F7, E7, F8, E8, all the way down. C should never appear in your formulas except for the first one. And that's only because that's how I have it built. Wherever you put it is wherever you want to put it. When I say put it, meaning my amount of land, my first constraint, land required versus the amount of land I have available. And then the very last feature is to return all of those values in F to an integer.
I understand this. I can hang out with Lisa online tonight and review that with her. I fixed what was wrong. I had the wrong amount of square foot what acreage was. So mine matches out.
Now, hey Kevin, are you still on?
Yeah.
Did you have any issues? I don't know if you can see this right here. Even though all of mine are exactly the same size, this bugs me.
OCD. I didn't even notice it.
Oh, well, once you do, though, it stands out like a sore thumb. If Tony were here, he'd be really upset.
Why don't you put a box around it all?
Well, you can't put a box
Oh,
around
that's right.
all of these. You can only put a box around an individual one through formatting. But I did like what Kevin did with his. At least makes it a little bit better, I think. And I think I'll probably go ahead and do that.
That shading thing?
I just tried to fudge it so it didn't stand out as bad to me through the shading.
Yeah.
Like I put shading so the inconsistencies didn't stick out as much for me.
Okay. And you did that through format control?
Yeah,
shading?
just through here. Yeah, format control. Yep.
And then didn't you, here, put yours back up there so we can take a look at yours. Yeah, and then you added a gradient fill to them too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Awesome. And then after we go into the macros and being able to assign a macro and a function to a shape, I wonder if you could use these kind of bullet buttons for that rather than, because you have more flexibility with creating stuff that way, I think. But I don't know if you can. Haven't tried it yet. Yeah. That's more of a Tony question because he's the
macro guy.
Macro king.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anybody have questions about anything about 17 we want to go over?
Oh my gosh. I think I did it.
Woohoo!
Is your total profit $9,687.50 or no?
$29,000 is my total profit.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it actually is 29,010. That's what I got, but I took the decimals out.
Yeah.
Lisa, I can get on with you after this.
Okay.
Except if you don't mind showing us your index if
statement
thing, at least just one.
I couldn't get it to work.
Well, you're going to have to take a look at it real close because I'm sure there's something missing.
Yeah, I'll get on with you, Lisa. I'll stay on with you. But where's your index? I need to look at that a little closer.
I have mine up if you want to look at it.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the right one. Okay. So if it equals that,
wait a minute.
if that hidden
Yeah,
cell
it's
equals
right here.
1, which is corn, then return whatever that number is in there. Right.
So one thing that you can do if you don't want to move your button over that cell, just format the cell so that the color, the background color and the font color are the same.
Oh yeah, that's a good call.
That way you don't have to keep moving your stuff around. And even though I did exactly as you did, I covered mine up like they showed in the exercise. But thinking about it, I'm like, that's kind of a hassle.
I'm not going to do that till the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can see by looking at mine, I put a lot of thought into how it looked.
All right. Well, you want to hit 18 real quick with the macros?
Do you have it up?
Yeah, I got it here.
Perfect. I have started it, but I haven't finished it. So basically, this one, in my opinion, I'm sorry, Kevin. Go ahead.
That's okay. No, this one was just, it was for me, it was like, all right, I didn't do something quite the way I wanted to on the first record. Yep. So it was trying to, it didn't look like if I just did the change I wanted to do and then taking that code and put it into the full macro I did. So it was like code stuff that I don't know coding. I don't know how to code right or anything like that. So hopefully it worked out. Now I've tested it and it works.
So my recommendation, guys, is to write a script on a sheet of paper that says what you're going to do each step, so that when you go to record, you don't miss something like Kevin did and have to go back and re-record it, because that is such a pain.
Yep.
So this one is actually not that difficult. You're just going to follow your steps. Step 1, what do I do? Step 2, what do I do?
Yeah. And it's just figuring out what you want it to look like and the steps to do it. And then, like Casey said, if really you have a script and follow the script exactly and record that, this should be fine.
Yeah, I'm glad you think it's okay.
Record. I don't even know what that means. I'm like an audio. I mean, I don't.
So you will. There's a little
button.
Kevin, show them the bottom record macro button down there in the
right here. This button right here. You click this, and then when you create a macro name, and then once you hit OK from this point, it records all your keystrokes. Oh, here.
I don't see anything. Okay.
Right here. So when you hit OK from here, it'll record all your keystrokes and everything you do until you hit stop.
Okay.
And that stop will be in the same spot that this one is where you started.
So writing it down.
Don't worry about hitting, like if you hit something, type something in, and you're like, oh, I misspelled that, and you delete it. It doesn't record anything like that. If you delete something, it knows you deleted it, and it only picks up where you corrected it from.
It doesn't pick up the undo button though.
There you are.
There's Tony.
Okay.
Hey guys, sorry, I had a meeting with the bishop at the last minute that I wasn't intending on staying for.
Sit.
But you can't really tell your bishop no, so.
Tony, I was going to ask you a coding question. Since you know this here. When you do, how do I get to which one is the code screen? How do I get to the code screen? Is it here?
Alt F11?
No, it's developer VBA.
Developer. This one.
Yep. There you go.
So when it has these end width and the width, what does the end width and the width mean?
So what it's doing is it's actually doing, it's kind of like a sub function, and all of those are the borders. For whatever reason, when you're trying to do borders in VBA, it pulls that width statement. So all of that is where it's adding your borders to the specific cells, and it's the specific type of border. It has to pull the color, the shade, and all of that. So all of those you can pretty much ignore. That's adding in the borders. Anything that has an active window scroll, you can go in and delete because you won't need those. My question is, why do you have 2?
Okay, so this one right here, this is what I forgot to do in my main macro.
Mhm.
And so basically I just took this code right here and copied it up into here.
Okay. So you can
So-
do that, or you could call it. Once you've copied it up, though, you can actually delete that second sub. You won't use it.
Okay, so how do I delete the second sub?
Starting at sub bold, highlight all of that,
Oh, just delete?
highlight down, and just delete.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Stop real quick.
What was that?
Scroll all the way up to the top for me. Cool.
And then if I hit save, is this just does it save the whole? Does it just save the macro, or does it save the whole document if I hit save at this point right here?
The whole document.
Okay, that's fine.
That's interesting. Yeah, mine came out a little bit differently.
Yeah, don't doubt that.
Tony, did you record or did you just type yours in manually?
A combination of both. I cleaned it up a little bit after I did the recording just to save myself some time. And if I can find it, I'll screen share. Just a tidbit of fun for you guys. If you guys want to actually define what you're doing in your macros, you can add this little parentheses, whatever it's called, sorry. And you can type, so anything that shows up in green is a comment and doesn't affect your macro. So I like to go through and highlight out what it's doing. So I didn't use it on the original tab. So I copy everything onto a new sheet, add a new sheet, rename the sheet with today's date. It says report in today's date. These are all the column breaks. I had them all sized to 1.5.
How did you put the green text in there again?
If you do whatever this is called.
Is that a tilde?
Apostrophe, isn't it?
It's just
Yeah.
an apostrophe.
I can't tell. I got to get up close. Okay, yeah, it's just an apostrophe.
So an
I
apostrophe,
forgot what that word was.
as you're typing, it'll show up black. When you hit enter, it'll automatically go to green. Green means it's a comment. So here's the freeze panes are here. All of my borders again. You can. This is actually really sloppy, and I'll probably go back and redo it. Trying to get it to highlight certain cells. I was going to the left, to the right, up, down. All of
How long does this take to come up with this code? I haven't even looked at the assignment yet.
It's not too bad, but I can show you what it does essentially though. So I'll delete that. By the way, Alt F11 is the shortcut to here. You just double click on modules. You had to set it up to run off of Control M. So as you can see here, it just created the new report. Did it that fast. Simple as that.
All right, well, guys, I'm going to have to step out. I don't have any questions regarding this one. So, Priscilla, Lisa, if you guys have any questions, give me a call later.
Okay, thank you guys for your help.
No problem.
So do we have to log out for you to do the recording? Lisa and I can log on in another Hangout.
No, he can
Yeah,
stop.
I'll stop this broadcast and send out the link to all this.
Oh,
So
okay.
that way you guys have this.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks for your help, you guys.
No problem. Tony, do you want to go over anything in 17 or you go with 17?
I'm pretty sure I'm good with 17. Is this
I
kind of what it was
figured,
supposed to look like?
Yeah. That looks exactly
You must be
similar to-
dying taking this class, doing this like this.
Yeah, it's pretty painful.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and send out the link in a second here for everyone.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Sorry I was
Thank
late.
you.
All good. Take it easy, guys.
Take it easy.